Hello and welcome to a session I'm calling Head to Toe Pilates. You are going to need a lot of fun little accessories for this session. Perhaps a pillow. I'm also using a smaller squishy ball, and I have a few loop bands, and as well I have a therapy ball. All these little accessories are going to help us connect to our total body from top of the head to tip of the toes. If you don't have a therapy ball, you could also use a tennis ball or a golf ball. We are going to begin in a seated position, and we're circling the shoulders up, back, around, and down, sitting up tall, reversing the shoulders the other direction. Fingertips to the shoulders now, and let's move from those elbows in the circular motion, about 8 times one direction. And then reverse. So we're starting at the shoulders, if you haven't already guessed. Getting some mobility and circulation through that upper body. And now just tapping the elbows together and opening them up wide to the side. Little chest expansion, shoulder work. Releasing hands to the knees. Let's inhale, shrug the shoulders to the ears, and exhale, release. Inhale, shrug, exhale, release shoulders. Just let them drop and feel heavy. Drop into gravity. Release any tightness, tension, and holding. Let's do some neck stretches, dropping one ear to the shoulder and then alternate the other side. You can close your eyes. Tune into how you're feeling. Now hold the ear drop to one shoulder and bring that same side hand up and over to the opposite side of the head as that other arm lifts up to the sky and exhale lowers about 4 times. And then hold it into a T shape, and let's rotate palm facing up and down through the entire arm, elbow, shoulder. And now fold that hand to the low back and start to rotate, looking down to the opposite shoulder and up to the sky. Keeping the hand on top of the head, applying a little bit of assistance, and then release the hands and arms first and let the head float right back to the center. Breathe here. Side number 2, the other hand comes up and across, pulling the ear down towards the shoulder. And then arm number 2 is lifting up to the sky and down to the ground. Really reach and stretch through the arm to feel the sensation of the stretch and the nerve flossing. And hold it a T shape, rotate palm up and palm down. Get some shoulder rotations. Fold that hand behind the low back, and now let's move the head by looking down and looking up to the sky, keeping the hand on the back of the skull, providing a little bit of support and assistance. Releasing arms and hands and floating head to the center. Let's look over one shoulder and then the other. This is a nice little sequence just to get some tension released and some mobility gained in our neck, shoulders, and chest area. And we're doing semicircle head rolls, looking to one shoulder, rolling across to the other shoulder, through the center to the other shoulder. Try to keep your posture and sitting up tall. Keep your breath flowing. Looking down, bring the hands to the back of the head. Gentle pressure as you tap the elbows towards each other, and then open this all the way up, looking to the sky, seated back bend. Lift the collarbone, lift the chest. Breathe into this extension. That's a great move if you've been doing a lot of driving or computer work. We're going to do some chin nods now. So you're going to pull the chin back towards the throat and then jut the chin forward. Often we are already jutting the chin too far forward. So on the exhale, we're going to draw that chin gliding back, not lifting higher, just gliding back to the throat. Feel those muscles working in the back of the neck and the upper back. A little bit of face yoga here. We're going to take your 2 fingers and just gently tap under the eyes to the temples. Tapping is a very invigorating and energizing action and can help us stay in the present moment. Bringing the tapping fingertips just over on top of the eyebrows, so drawing circles from eyebrows to under the eyes and the other way. And then using your middle finger, just going to tap at that third eye and up towards the top of the forehead, between the eyebrows and traveling upwards. Keep breathing. I like eyes closed for this one. And now we're just tapping at the creases of the mouth with the 2 fingers again. I'm switching my seated position into butterfly, feet together, knees dropping out. And I like sitting up on top of a pillow here. Helps to release the hip flexors. Still tapping about 20 to 30 times or so. I'm making little claws with my index fingers and just gently rubbing underneath the eyes and the cheekbones, making an O shape with the mouth. Smoothing out the skin. We have lots of muscles in our face, and yet we tend to not focus on these muscles as much as we do the other muscles in our body. So taking a few moments to incorporate the face as well. And we're going to use our 2 fingers, the middle and the index, just to rub little circles into the temples. One direction and then reverse the other direction. This is really nice for alleviating any tension or achiness. And now thumbs and index fingers are going to rub the earlobes, stimulating the ears and earlobes, which we also greatly ignore. Guess what? Ears are also a part of our body and actually very important. The index fingers are just going to rub behind the ears, and I'm just finding 3 little pressure points, 3, 2, 1, and just doing a mild press into these points. And you can feel perhaps some tension alleviating from your jaw area. And little taps here at the bottom, just below and slightly behind the earlobe. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's shake out those hands a little bit. Let that go. So knees are on the pillow and the crown of the head is going to move onto the towel. So just extra cushioning here. You might need to adjust your hairstyle depending. And we're just bringing some light pressure to the top of the head towards the top of the forehead and the crown. So I'm just rolling forward and back, dropping hips to heels and then lifting hips a little higher as we roll towards the crown of the head. Hands are supporting. It's always good to be upside down every day. And there's lots of different ways that you can do that. If you want to take this a little further, we're going to press hands down even more to lift hips high to the sky and moving into a tripod balance, bringing knees to triceps and lifting feet away from the floor. Breathe in, stay calm. I'm flexing the feet, just keeping the feet and legs nice and active, and bringing the feet down, knees down. Let's sit right back to the heels into that child's pose. Now forehead resting down to the ground, rocking gently, softly, side to side, arms by the side, palms up, breath in, breath out. And slowly rolling up. Let's come back to a seated position here. Gonna move to our loop bands. You can also just use a regular TheraBand and tie it to make a loop. First, we're gonna open the arms to a T shape and just circle those arms about 8, 9, or 10 times behind us. And then flexing at the wrist so fingertips are up to the sky. Let's reverse the direction of the circle. Try to keep the rest of the body still. Rotations, palms up and palms down. Both arms, same time, same direction, looking over one shoulder, then the other. Keep the neck moving easily. I'm opening the arms a little bit wider behind me now, more stretch across the chest and biceps. And now we're going to move into a little bit more strengthening for the rotator cuff and the rear deltoid. Bringing the hands inside the loop band, we're going to widen the band and bring the hands shoulder width. Try not to let the hands come too close together. Palms are facing each other, and then rotate. Same thing, palms facing down. And then same thing, palms facing up. Little pulses out, out, out. Now lift one hand higher, the other hand lower as you widen the band and alternate from side to side. Wide and switch, wide and switch. And let that go. Circling out the wrists. Making fists, we're going to work on those wrists a little bit more, taking knuckles up and knuckles down about 8 times. And then let's open and close the knuckles. They look inwards, they look outwards. Finding some wrist mobility, which is great for golfers, baseball players, any kind of sport where you're using your hands. Now turn the fingertips down and send the palm forward. Get a nice stretch through the wrist and forearm and wiggle that thumb around, little circles. Switch sides. Feel a nice stretch through the arm. Moving the thumb around. And shake that on out. Finding your loop band one more time. We're going to bring the hands inside the loop band and we're going to work through our lats here. So I like to bring the arms behind the head. You can always do this by bringing the band in front of you, dropping to the forehead. As you exhale, bend the elbows. Try widening the band even more as it drops behind the head. Keep lots of energy in those arms. Adding a little twist before we bend. Rotate center, elbows bend and straighten. Rotate center, bend and straighten. Rotate center, bend, and good job. Let's move into a high plank, straightening legs and arms, and then pike the hips to the sky. Nice and high, and start to walk this downward dog, bending one knee then the other, dropping the heel, And then the other heel, switch and switch. Keep arms strong and pressing the floor away. Place one toe on top of the opposite foot so that knee is bent. And we're going to do some calf raises, lifting and lowering the heel of the straight leg. About 8-9 times. Keep the hips high, tailbone to the sky. Let's switch the foot that's on top. So one knee is bent, one leg is straight, and we're dropping the heel of the straight leg down and up. Pressing up and reaching down. A little calf work. And let's move into a forward bend. Folding over those legs, being upside down, holding opposite elbows and swaying side to side like a rag doll. Keep it slow. Let's take our 2 fingers and find the big toes into this big toe forward bend. Really feel the stretch through the back body, the back of the legs, the hamstrings especially, but also stretching the glutes and the back. Bring the hands to the shins as we inhale, lift the chest, the heart forward. And now let's step on those palms. Toes to wrists. Exhale, release the head. So looking at the space between the shins. Tailbone lifts, heels anchored, breath flowing. Breathe into those hamstrings. Breathe into the back of the knees. Release the hands, interlace the fingertips, and reach the arms up and overhead. Deep squeeze in the shoulder blades. Stretch through the front of the shoulders and the chest. And slowly release, fingertips down to the ground, bend the knees. Let's slowly roll up through the spine. Coming into our last sequence here, we're going to strengthen through our shins and also great for knee strengthening. So just standing, and you're going to try picking up the toes and the balls of the feet. Try not to stick the bum out behind you. Keep your posture. Now alternate one foot then the other. Switch, 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 switch. Try the same thing with an external rotation, rotating knees and toes out to the sides. Let's try keeping our external rotation, arms open to a T, and again, the toes and the balls of the feet lifting and lowering. We are going to find our therapy ball or our tennis ball or our golf ball or marbles or your squash ball. And we're going to bring the ball of your foot on top of the therapy ball and just draw little circles. So this is great to practice our balance. You can always hold on to a chair or the wall if you need extra support. And you're going to just take the rolls, the circles, 8 times one direction, then the other. And now bring the therapy ball to the arch of the foot, rolling back and forth, back and forth. Find the heel and draw the little circles again. That supporting leg, hip, knee, ankle doing lots of work to keep you standing. Now find the outer edge, the baby toe edge of the foot, and try to roll the ball 8 times, and then find the big toe inner edge. This one's my favorite. And roll from heel to big toe about 8 times. Now drop your heel so the ball of your foot is pressing into the therapy ball. You might need to hold on to something here because we're going to try bending that supporting leg and lifting the foot away from the floor as you feel the pressure of the therapy ball into the foot. Really breaking up tightness, tension, knots, stress in the foot. The feet take a lot of stress. And now keep the heel down and just roll the ball from side to side, from big toe to baby toe. And we're going to try that whole sequence on side number 2. Standing tall, I have hands on hips. You could have arms open to a T to help you better balance. Find the balls of the foot and just roll the therapy ball in little circles, 8 times each direction. Find the arch of the foot and roll forward and back about 8 times from heel to the balls of the foot. Find that heel now and draw little circles on top of the therapy ball. 8 times one way, then reverse. We're going to the outer edge, baby toe edge of the foot now, and rolling the ball 8 times, and then switching to the inside of the foot, the big toe side. And of course, you can spend more time here. You could try 20 rolls instead of 8. I'm doing the express version. Now find the balls of the foot, and that's what you're going to anchor on top of the therapy ball as you drop that same heel down to the ground. This is where you might need to hold on to something. You're going to try lifting up that supporting leg. So knee lifts and then toes drop down, just to bring more deeper pressure into that foot in the therapy ball. Keep the heel down and then just roll the toes side to side across the balls of the feet. Generate some circulation and blood flow here. The feet are the foundation and are responsible for so much alignment and issues in our body. Let's bring the therapy ball between the inner heels and try a final set of calf raises. So spread the toes wide, plant the big toes down especially, and try lifting the heels with the therapy ball away from the ground and down. So it really encourages you to squeeze in and use those inner leg, inner thigh, inner knee muscles. Keep your alignment. Heels stay up. Now try bending the knees and straightening the legs. You can open the arms to a T shape. Let's put that as a combo. So we have heels lift, knees bent, heels drop. Heels lift, knees bent, straighten, heels drop. Yay! Let's lower that down. Sitting into a chair pose with arms reaching up on an inhale. Exhale, come up to standing. Sit into chair pose as you inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, up to standing. Bring hands into heart center and then spill them open to the sides. Bend knees, straighten legs, hands to heart center, reach overhead and expand those arms wide to the side. Final little breath, tuning in, checking in. Bend the knees, let's drop the hands to the ground and fold over those legs. Shake out the head here. You have worked from the top of the head to the tip of the toes, hopefully feeling more connected to your body as a whole. And good job, everybody. Thank you for joining me today, and until next time.